There's a difference between teacher and a student, a trainer and a trainee, and a master and a disciple. So there are three types of relationships in this kind of structure. What is worth following and what is not worth following? It is called viveka or discrimination. Desire and will are unruly elements if they are not guided by a active and clear and lucid intelligence. So very good morning to everyone. So we are meeting after some time, right? We had just seen a video last week. Only Saju was there. So hope some more people will join. Saju, you have watched the video? Sachit's message I could see. He has watched half.
Yes, sir.
You have seen the whole thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Neha is about to come. Neha has also joined. Okay. Good morning, Neha.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. You have watched the video, kind of?
Not fully, sir, but I watched.
For how long you have watched? Because I won't be able to cover the whole thing today. Anyways.
I think around half an hour I would have watched.
Okay, that should be good enough for today. But slowly watch it, because it's anyways not something to be watched superficially, because that is why I'm taking time to now go deep into every idea. In a 2-hour lecture, how much can I cover? Obviously, it's impossible, no? Because what I teach over, I'm not able to teach actually in 3 months. Actually, whatever I do in happiness course, is over 3 months, and then in 2 hours, how it is possible to, someone, for someone to share everything, so that it impacts their consciousness. So my main motto or my main objective that day was to shake them up, from their slumber, so to speak. Because generally people tend to live life as if they know everything, as if they understand everything, and and that's a very sad state of affairs, I feel. So that is like not actually living the life actually, as it is meant to be lived by a human being. So that was my objective. So I shared a lot of ideas and in a very short amount of time. But unpacking them is very important. So I'll start. So I'm assuming you have seen at least first half an hour, right? That I can assume, because the ideas which I'll be sharing will be corresponding to the initial part. So, okay, and I think in the first half an hour I'm able to reach that far. The first idea I shared was, because the topic was about Amma and her vision, mission, teachings, meditation, how it helps, etc. So it kind of is a very, very good topic, to talk about. And I'll tell you why it is a good topic. It is not because Amma is involved and my devotion towards Amma. That is obviously there. But more importantly, I represent a category of a person and Amma represents another category of a person. So what is that? So I represent maybe a seeker, maybe a little bit more advanced seeker, and maybe a little bit of a finder also. You know what I mean to say? I'm not a complete seeker also. I've found also quite a few things. And Amma is, the master and I'm the disciple. Okay, so that is the relationship. And when I say master-disciple, it is not the teacher and the student. There's a difference between teacher and a student, a trainer and a trainee, and a master and a disciple. So there are three types of relationships in this kind of structure, or mentor-mentee also. So mentor-mentee, I think, is where you take the training part out of the teacher, that becomes a mentor. A teacher is a trainer plus mentor. So first thing, I want you to understand these four things. What is a student, teacher, mentor, mentee, trainer, trainee, and master, disciple. So my relation with Amma is that of a disciple and a master. So how it is different from other three formats? That is the first thing I'll say. So in a student-teacher relationship, student comes to learn from the teacher. And student learns two things. One is, the skills necessary to perform the job which will be assigned to the student in future. So maybe student is relatively younger or maybe inexperienced, and he's being groomed and trained to develop the skills so that he or she can contribute to the society. Now, here society is very important because teacher is a role played by someone in the society. So, and why society? Because we are social beings, and we have to live in an organized manner for maximum happiness and minimum pain to all the members of society, right? And that is why we had earlier tribes and kingdoms, and then slowly nations came into being, and then ultimately United Nations also came into being, because globally also we have to live as a society. So society is governed at many levels, right from United Nations to downwards till the village panchayat level, okay, and even family level. The family elder or father or mother, whoever is leading the family, is like also a governing body. So there is governance and governed, and there are rules and regulations, and together, if you all put these things together, it becomes a society. Also norms and values, etc. Also. So student comes to teacher to learn the skills, so that these skills he or she can employ to serve society and to earn the daily bread, livelihood. Because people have to earn their livelihood generally. In a classical sense, I'm saying. I'm assuming we all are like, people who have to meet our livelihood needs. None of us is Ambani's child. Okay. So I hope you follow what I'm saying, because we have to understand in a classical sense. We all have to survive and we all need money. In that assumption I'm making, right? So skills you need to learn so that you can play the role assigned to you by society. And as a result of that service, you get the money. So that is student, teacher, one part. But if that were the only thing, then it can be called a trainer-trainee. No, there was one discussion which I engaged them in: training versus teaching, trainer versus teacher. So trainer trains you for skills. A monkey can be trained, a lion can be trained for circus skills, right? We know that. But then that is not teaching, that is training. And why we can't call it teaching? The lion's consciousness doesn't grow. The monkey's consciousness doesn't grow. The basic ability to take decisions, to think intelligently, doesn't grow. That is why it is only training. Training is only to perform skills. Right. That is a very important distinction. But when we add to that imparting skills another role or duty of the teacher, which is to educate the mind and the heart of the student, both, then it becomes teaching. What Amma calls education for life. That is what Amma calls it. So in education for life, what happens is, you are not only training them management skills or engineering skills or architecture skills or medical skills, which will help them to do their job. You're also imparting to them an education which educates their heart and their mind. So what is that education of the heart and the mind? So you see, it is when we take decisions, when we think, we have to involve the heart center also, the feeling part also. Our teaching should not be such that it becomes completely commercialized. We only teach the skills. You get the money, you get the placement, and you go. Then it's a completely commercial transaction. But if you do that in a rampant manner in a country, in the whole world, to the neglect of education of heart and mind, then you bring chaos. You destroy society. Why? Because society is based upon a rule of law and adherence to ethics. Right? If there is no rule of law, there will be chaos. And if there is no adherence of ethics, then you need a lot of policing. Lot of policing. If everyone is unethical, then you require a lot of policing. But then here we are making an assumption that police will be ethical. How it is possible? In a basically unethical society, even the policemen and women will be unethical. From where will you get the policemen? They will not come from emptiness, no. So by destroying your basic ethos, basic culture, by focusing only upon training of monkeys, men become monkeys. Because only training them, skills. They have to perform some circus stunt. In an IT company or in a research company, it doesn't matter. It's a stunt only you're performing, some skills you're performing. There is no heart involved. There is no desire to serve involved. There is no feeling of belonging to society is involved. I had a very beautiful conversation many years ago with a student, who came to me and told, sir, she was my happiness student, very good student. So I have a very basic confusion. I said, what? Sir, everyone says that you should follow your heart. Isn't it true? I said, yes. But sir, I've always followed my heart, but I'm utterly miserable in my life. I'm one person who always follows her heart no matter what. And I try so hard to follow my heart. But sir, my life is becoming more and more miserable by the day. And, I am going into depression. Why is like that? If following my heart is so important, why I am going into depression? Why I am so frustrated? I said, my dear friend, you have to follow your heart, very true. Because without following your heart, you can't be happy. But you have to also educate your heart. And when I told that, believe me, she was absolutely stunned. Stunned means stunned. She started crying for 5 minutes. She could not, come to her normal self because it penetrated to her soul, this wisdom. So educating the heart means also educating the mind. And educating the mind means also educating the heart. So we cannot split the two. We should not, we can, but we should not. We can split the two by teaching too much of logic and training too much of skills, and teaching winning is the only thing which matters. If you want to crush the heart, you just do these three things. Teach absolute lot of logical things, mathematics, engineering, design, this, that, empty philosophy, postmodernism, modernism, blah, blah, bullshit. Okay. So that the brain becomes super engaged, all the oxygen is only going in the brain. Okay. So the other parts of the body are not nourished. And then at the same time, train them for some very high class skills which others can't do. Why? Because you're creating elites. You create IIMs, IITs, Harvard and Stanford and MITs, and you teach them some very esoteric skills that other people can't perform. So they believe they're elite. And then winning is the only thing that matters. Do these three things, you destroy the human inside. That human will die. And you will have what is called these days a superstar, who is not a human being at all. The moment you become a superstar, you have become lost into narcissism. And the people who worship a superstar are also narcissistic. Why? Because they want to become the superstar. That guy has what I want. That guy has what I lack. So you see, you destroy society completely. Society is not based upon superstars. Society is based upon super servants. The king is the greatest servant, meant to be the greatest servant. The one who deserves to be the king, as per the law of nature, he has to have the cleanest and the kindest heart. Has to be willing to bow down to everyone and serve everyone. So, that is what teaching means. So to be a teacher, you have to be like that. You have to have a very pure and beautiful heart and a very pure and educated mind. Okay. And your heart and mind are fused into one, like, two parts of a seamlessly functioning car or equipment or whatever. Okay. And that is what is the real education. And if someone is doing that, that is a teacher. So teacher is training the heart and the mind to think rationally and beautifully and listening to the inner conscience. Okay. And this inner conscience develops by following a set of good values. More we follow the universal values like truth, honesty, sincerity, dedication, love, compassion, friendship, approachability, humility, courage, initiative, creativity, all these things, these great ideals which have inspired humanity from times immemorial. More you follow these values in your heart, more the conscience grows. The conscience is a very, very integral part of a human being. No conscience, no human being possible. If conscience is dead, human being also has died along with the conscience. Now, conscience is something which is supposed to be the voice of the soul. More you are in touch with your soul, more your conscience functions. Okay, and more you go away from your soul, more the voice of conscience becomes fainter, 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 and ultimately dies. And once the conscience has died, you have become completely alienated from your soul. And that is a very sad state of affairs. Now, Carl Gustav Jung wrote a book called Modern Man in Search of His Soul. So you can accumulate a lot of wealth, lot of fame, lot of name. You can marry, the most beautiful or handsome people on the planet 5 times, 10 times. But ultimately, at the end of it all, you feel very frustrated, very empty, very depressed, insomniac, having to consume, sleeping pills to sleep and reaching out to psychiatrists to fix you because you are not in touch with your soul. These things cannot complete or fulfill a human being. Okay. So we pay a very heavy price for all these artificial ways of life. And we are paying very heavily. You can see it spreading rampantly all over the planet. So what has gone wrong is that is what has gone wrong. We have confused training with teaching. That is a major mistake which people have made in the last 100 years. And why it happened? Because economics became dominant. It's very unfortunate. Economics is artha. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In the ancient system, I have talked about that in the video later. Neha, you may not have seen that, but later when you go further, you will see that. I talked about these 4 Purusharthas also. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So Artha is economics. And that encompasses technology also. Okay. So this entire machinery of value creation, which means wealth creation, which people keep talking about. Now these days, the term value has become so much identified with economic value that people have lost the other meaning of the word value, which is the moral value, right? And that is unfortunate. And that is why Dharma was there to balance this tendency. Our ancient rishis knew this tendency of man, that when the animal in man will become prominent, then the artha will become very predominant. And when the human will die, in the man, and the animal will become more prominent, kama will increase like a wildfire. And kama, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Kama is like fire. If you pour petrol on fire, fire will only grow, right? And the problem with a very growing fire and a rampant fire is that more you pour into that fire, more it will burn everything and still will not be satisfied. You can never satisfy a raging fire. I'm using a metaphor. I hope you follow what I'm saying. Are you following me? Can we satisfy fire by pouring things in that? No, it will consume everything and still become stronger. In fact, more you pour into fire, stronger it becomes. Unless you pour water. Okay. Water is perhaps the only thing, only normal thing, I mean, not, you can bring some, very heavy chemicals, sir, you are not aware of chemistry. Okay, I'm not very good in chemistry, but you understand I'm a good teacher of values. You follow what I'm saying. Here, water is important because water belongs to Panch Tattvas. Okay. Water is one of the 5 great elements. So when we teach values, we play with these ideas. So, karma is like that. Now, why training is dangerous is because, training only is dangerous because you train them for very good skills and skills which are, in great demand. So they will go and become very rich. They will earn a lot of money, right? But why they are earning money? To fulfill the desires. Desire for this, that, whatever, that they can buy with money. But when a whole society becomes obsessed with this only, that the purpose of government is to maximize wealth creation, then economics becomes the driving engine. Then everything becomes like, economic role only. A role that you are playing is only economic in nature. It's a cost that a company pays, and it's a value that you create using your skills for the company. And the company is an impersonal profit-making machine, right? It only looks at costs and revenues. Now that kind of economic mindset is artha. Dharma is missing here. Now, when you are teaching and not only training, you keep dharma also as the bedrock of your exercise. A teacher is the carrier of dharma, is the imparter of dharma, is the protector of dharma, is the nourisher of dharma. because it is the teacher who imparts these things to the students who come to the school. So no, teacher's role is that. So teacher has to become an embodiment of values first of all. How? By educating his or her own heart and inner conscience. How? By never letting the heart become dry. So heart has to be nourished with poetry, with good music, dance, forms, art, painting, good literature, good movies, which navigate human relationships, feelings, so many great movies are there. So those tendencies have to be nourished and nurtured and encouraged. But what happens is that as man becomes obsessed with Artha more and more, technology more and more, and as technology grows more and more, man has a problem, fundamental problem, which is imagination. It's an asset, but it can also become a problem when the imagination is not trained and used scientifically. Imagination is meant to be used to create things of value, to create solutions to apparently insurmountable problems. So imagination is an asset which has to be utilized properly. But when not trained properly, which means when not educated properly, and when not taught about the role and nature of imagination, people tend to use it wildly. Parents are ignorant, children are ignorant, government is ignorant, everyone is ignorant about this simple thing. Our problem is that we know so much about outer nature, but we don't know even the least bit about the inner nature. Right? So we have to understand conscience, imagination, intelligence, will, desire, soul, divine, life, life forms, ecosystem. These 10, 11, 12 ideas, each person has to understand very beautifully. Dharma, which is called duty in the West, but duty is very shallow. Dharma is a beautiful word. Okay, it has million times more meaning than duty. Okay, Dharma is Vishnu in Sanatana Dharma. Okay, the greatest teacher who keeps coming back to earth again and again to establish Dharma again and again. Okay, so you are following me so far? Or am I rambling too much today? Yeah, Neha, Sachit, Saju,
Yes, sir, following.
following me.
Following, sir. Yeah.
Wherever I go off track, please remind me. So, training, artha, economics, value, which means economic value creation machine, impersonalization of the business organization, and impersonalization of the governance structure. These are the major problems. See, governance in its classical form was a tribe being led by the tribal head. A village panchayat being led by the mukhya or the village headman. That is governance. That is a governance which everyone can understand. Government is in touch with the members of the society. But a mega government of a mega piece of territory like India or Australia or whatever, which is impersonal in nature, which is led by bureaucracy, is not the government in the classical sense or as nature has designed man to be. Okay. So technology, transportation technology, first of all, roads and such things, through waterways and now airways, etc., enabled the giant government to come into picture because you can control the whole territory. Then nowadays IT also, it has become much more easy. But the way I say it, now only solution is to take it to its utter extreme and make the whole world one nation. Make the whole world one nation where every country becomes a part of the global government. So in that system, no unity in diversity. We celebrate our humanity and we have Olympic games, we have competitions, everything is there. But it's like interstate competition, where the basic humanity is intact. We are never, enemies. It's like, competition among brothers and sisters. So that spirit can only help. That is at the governance side. But that will never come through unless people understand what I'm trying to teach now. That at our core, we are all the same. We all have imagination. We all have feelings. We all have, intelligence. We all have desires. We all have will. We all have a life energy running through us, which is the same life energy running through all the living organisms. And Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is the idea which needs to be taught and understood first of all. So once you understand and you teach your children and your colleagues and classmates and friends and in your circle, then slowly this idea will spread and it will not take a long time. I don't think it will take a long time. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years is more than enough to educate about these ideas, the whole planet. And that is the only way to change the current situation, because I think all is not lost, because it's only a thing about understanding. We have lost our clarity, intellectual clarity, and that is why we are making these mistakes. So to complete my this drift of thought, so imagination, which I started. So you start making movies using technology where the hero first becomes a superhero, then the superhero becomes a, I don't know. I mean, maybe he no longer remains a hero. It becomes more and more weird and more and more weird, more and more weird. Characters become more and more weird, more and more unnatural, more and more impersonal, more and more out of sync with real life. Because you are driven by the tricks and techniques that technology can enable you to play. You want to create a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger extravaganza, because you want to mesmerize and completely reduce the public to a pulp. Pulp, you crush the mango, it becomes a pulp like that. The public's consciousness is like that mango. You want to crush it to a pulp. You want to shatter it. You want to dominate it. You want to conquer it. Why? Because you want 1,000 crore rupees. So kind of things Bahubali is able to do, Krishna could not do. And that fellow Bahubali, if you punch him one good hit in the face, he will go flat on the earth. Real character, that actor. He is nothing extraordinary, but people think, oh my God, this guy is like God. That is crazy. So this is, imagination going wild. Now when imagination goes wild, that is called a child, okay? Children have wild fantasies. So such movies have reduced everyone to a sick child. Not only child, sick child. Sick child which believes in the fantastic ghost that they're showing on the screen. Okay. And when you become sick, imagination becomes wild, you can't think straight. So when someone like me comes to the class and starts teaching these great things, they are looking right, left, and up and down what he is teaching. They have no idea. Such a boring class. Show me some movie like that, no? So you see, so imagination is like that. It wants only more and more fantastic things. Okay. And this is what happens when karma is fed by imagination. Then you will have all kinds of unnatural things to satisfy your desire. For example, in food itself, to satisfy your taste buds, you will become so over creative and over imaginative that you may ruin your health, because what you ingest from your mouth has to be digested by the body. So in exercising creativity too much, you make so many unnatural foods that body is going to suffer. So we have all kinds of strange illnesses which are now difficult to diagnose also, because our system is not meant to eat those things. So I hope you follow what I'm saying. So idea is that we go further and further away from our real nature, at the physical level, at the mental level, at the emotional level. And more we go away from our real nature, more we become alienated from our soul, which is our core, our true inner center, where God sits. And that is a major problem. So conscience dies, people stop caring for each other, people forget what society means, why society was created, how to govern society. And in that kind of chaos, all these things that you see these days, all kind of psychological, emotional illnesses, is on the rise. In the best institutions like IITs and IIMs, people are committing suicides. If you are really the best institutions of the country, people should be happiest over there, faculty and the students. You are the very best of the whole country. Am I right or wrong? Tell me, Saju.
Yes, sir. Totally agree.
If you are the not happiest people, how you are the best?
Sure.
Because you cannot inspire us, no. When I look at you, I feel sad. You are committing suicide. So at least I want to live. So I will not come to your place, no. I want to learn how to live, and you are teaching me how to die.
Sure.
Which I anyways can do without your help. Right? So what is the point? It's a tragedy. Right? People who are most skilled in making people sad, they become CEOs. Right? They call it power. Right? That is not power. That is not power. That is devilishness. So, teaching versus training. So, teaching is understanding the principles of Dharma, ethics, values, understanding the role of all these things I told you, ecosystem, society, principles that govern society, corresponding to these principles which govern society, the capacity for the human heart to embrace those principles as our inner values. Principles, when internalized, they are called values. That's the relationship. Eternal principles, when internalized, become values. Because someone has to value for something to become of value. So who is that person? The conscious living being. But the principles are abstract in nature. They need to be understood, engaged with, and embraced in our heart. And if we do that, the conscience becomes richer. When the conscience becomes richer, our imagination automatically comes under control. And when these things are under control, we start to naturally function intelligently with a clean mind, which is able to focus. See, because if imagination is wild, no, you can't focus. Isn't it true? Today, attention span is decreasing at a very rapid rate. I am told that the average attention span of an average child now is less than the goldfish, which has the least attention span among all species, among known species. Goldfish has the shortest attention span, which is something like 7 or 8 seconds. And human attention span has gone below that. And we are claiming to be the smartest creature on this planet. We are less than a goldfish now. And without attention, without concentration, has any learning happened ever? Not possible. So this is the alarming situation today. Why? Because children watch cartoon movies, the children watch all kinds of things, and adults also watch all kinds of things, nonsense, and they can't focus anymore. Imagination has gone wild. So all these ideas which I'm sharing, they belong to teaching. And a teacher understands all these things. So who is a teacher? A teacher is like a mechanic, okay. He knows the human system inside out and can set it right. Like a mechanic. He can diagnose a character, see and diagnose what is wrong with this character, and then set it right. So a teacher has to be a therapist also. In fact, therapist is a very artificial role. This therapist role belongs to the parent first and to the teacher next, in the family and in the school. If these two people are functioning nicely, you don't need a therapist. Okay. And if imagination doesn't go wild, you don't need a therapist. So what is wrong with over imagination, unnatural imagination? I'll give you examples. Let's say my mother, okay. I see things in her which don't belong to her. For example, I see a goddess in her, absolutely perfect, but she is not. So I am putting so much pressure upon her, no? She will not remain natural woman which she is. Then our relationship will become strained because she can't fulfill my expectations. They are too high, for example. Same thing I will do with my wife also, with my husband also, with my friend also, with my brother also, sister also. So when imagination goes too much out of hand, it becomes distorted. It contaminates the intellect. It no longer can think straight. It cannot see reality as it is. It imposes its own ideas of reality. And in the world of imagination, you know, you just want more and more, stimulation. And we have an innate ability to perceive the truth of any situation and then behave accordingly. Right? That is called intelligence. No, that is the situational intelligence, the contextual intelligence, the intelligence in this present moment, ability to respond. That suffers. You can no longer remain in touch with reality because you are living in a world of fantasy, imagination. And that is a major problem these days. So the mass media surrounds us from all sides and doesn't let us escape its tentacles. So today's lecture, we should try to understand and then use this knowledge to ourselves, first of all, break free from all this Maya and then help others also in our circle. We have to start thinking from inside. Who we are. We are these things. Imagination, desire, will, intelligence, conscience. Right? And the role of intelligence in all this. The main captain of the ship is intelligence, which needs to be developed. And using this intelligence, we analyze everything, understand everything, and find out Dharma as it should be, as it is. And what is Dharma? Dharma means things as they are. One meaning of Dharma is things as they are. Buddha used Dharma in this sense. Dharma means there is a nature of a given species, nature of a given person, and that will manifest naturally. Okay, and that is the Dharma of the thing. Fire will be hot only. Ice will be cold only. That is the Dharma of fire, Dharma of ice. In this sense, Buddha used this term. So in that sense, I'm saying, so Dharma is that which is natural to any given entity. One meaning of Dharma. Okay. Second meaning of Dharma, which is relevant to our discussion today, is Dharma is that which sustains society. Which means if Dharma is becoming weaker, society will become weaker and will become more and more miserable. People in society will become more and more miserable. So Dharma is that which protects everyone's happiness and prosperity. So it means it consists of those principles which when followed by society, everyone becomes happy. Like truthfulness. Truthfulness is such a great principle of Dharma. Why? Because if we say truth to each other, there is no scope for confusion. We all know what is what. If I speak truth to myself, in my own inner being, don't deceive myself, then, I will not be confused in my own mind. What I am, what I want, what my goal is, what my purpose is, what I like, what I don't like. So, truthfulness, brings a lot of clarity, simplicity, lack of confusion, for example. And, that is very good because who wants to be confused? Right? Truthfulness naturally nourishes the conscience. If I teach a child to not speak the truth, then the child feels pressure. Whenever, father says, tell the uncle I am not at home. Child will maybe out of fear of the beating from father will tell father is not at home. But he is not behaving naturally. He is not behaving according to his dharma, which is to tell father is at home. Because he knows father is at home. So he has to deny reality. Which means he has to harden the heart, which wants to tell the truth. The pressure is to tell the truth. But we control that and we say the false. So whenever we say the false knowingly, we control the heart. And when you control the heart becomes harder. Literally becomes harder. And more you do it, one day it will lead to a heart attack, heart illness. No, blocked arteries. Even if you don't take, alcohol and what is that fat and all that, still you will develop heart disease. Because heart will not receive the supply of blood as it should, as much as it should. Arteries will start to get blocked. Why? Because there are something called naris in pranamaya kosa. Those naris are spiritual things. If you behave according to unethical principles, those naris start to get blocked. And the blood flow can't happen. When naris become blocked, the physical component blood will not flow because the nari is blocked. So nari is blocked, the artery is blocked. When the artery is blocked, in those parts of the body, you will feel a stone-like feeling. If you can be very great meditators, you will feel, no, I can feel my body completely, okay. I know which parts of my body have still some blockage. You can also do it. Vipassana, no, if people go for Vipassana. Have you heard Vipassana? In Vipassana, that is what you do. In Vipassana, you want to become aware of each and every centimeter of your body. Okay, you want to be completely aware of your body. And if you become completely aware of your body, your consciousness starts to break free from the grip of this tamas. Body is basically tamasic element in us, the physical, the dense element in us. So as you practice Vipassana more and more, you are able to loosen the grip of tamas on you. And then slowly, you become very aware of the body's nature. Then you start to live according to body's dharma. Your what is called sixth sense, innate gut feeling becomes very purified. You know what to eat, what not to eat, what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, what type of job to do, what type of job to leave. You become very intelligent from inside. Okay. Have I made sense so far? So teaching means all these things. Understanding all these things first for ourselves and then teaching them. And how do you teach them? Even if you are teaching chemistry, it doesn't matter. You live like that. When you live life like that, students will naturally come to you. Those students whose conscience is still not dead, they will naturally come and connect with you. Because only you can help and teach. And hopefully, in our school or college or wherever we are in our organization, we have some people at least who are still open for teaching. Okay. So anyone who has a heart which is still, a little bit pure and innocent, we can teach. But to be able to teach, we have to become teachers, which means we have to have a very clarified personality, clarified by the understanding of these principles, embodying these principles and living these principles. So these are the first idea I said, teaching versus training. Okay. So to come back to my discussion, Amma versus me. So training I have covered, teaching I have covered. So trainer, trainee, teacher, student, and mentor, mentee already, just take out the training part from the teaching, and it is basically, I mean the training part from the teaching, and it's mentor, mentee. So mentor, mentee generally both are successful people, and one person is more experienced than the other person, so is guiding the other person on the career path, life path. And that is the third role that we see. And fourth is master disciple, which is Amma and me. Now, in this case, master's role is of a different type and a much higher type. And what is that role? So that is what we need to understand. Why we should go to a person like Amma whenever it is possible, that is what we will understand today. See, we all are vibrating at our own frequencies. Agreed? Agreed? So we all are an energy system. Agreed? Now we have to bring an idea of the energy is vibrating at different levels of frequency, and as we go higher up in frequency, I'm not meaning to say increasing the rate of vibration. I mean in a figurative sense. As we go higher means more refined, as our basic aura becomes more and more refined. That's what I mean. As our consciousness becomes more and more refined, our aura reflects that refinement. Right? In that sense, I'm saying. So our energy is becoming more sattvic and less rajasic and less tamasic. Rajasic is better than Tamasic, and Sattvic is better than Rajasic. So in that sense, I am saying. So it was a natural ordering of the consciousness as per the ancient rishis. Tamas, Rajas, Sattva. Okay. So there's a sloka asdo ma sadgamaya tamso ma jyotirgamaya. So tamas is like darkness and jyoti is like light. So more jyoti inside you, more sattvic you become. In that sense, I'm saying. So master is an embodiment of a very high level of refined vibration. And difference between a master and let's say temple or another place of religious importance where we go as pilgrimage is that the pilgrimage center is not intentional in nature generally like a master can be, because master is a person. So same divinity that you may find in Tirupati or in some other religious place, you will find in the master, with one major difference, and that is master has a volition and an intention because it's a living being, right? So it means that if the master likes you as a person, and if the master sees in you some potential for spiritual growth, then the master may choose to invest her energy on you. Can you unmute and tell whether you follow what I'm saying? It's a very important point.
I think if you could repeat that, sir. I didn't follow it, actually.
Neha?
What I understood is that the master needs to identify that potential in the student, and if she thinks that the person is ready for the spiritual journey, then she invests time and effort in you.
Okay, so I will try to explain more clearly.
Okay.
As a selfish person, which I am, and I hope you also are, we should be selfish in a good sense. I want more happiness in life or no?
Yes.
I want more development for myself or no? Agreed?
Yeah.
So if I develop more, will my life be better and happier?
Yeah.
And if I develop more, will I be able to guide my children also to that happiness? And my wife also, and all the people that I love in my life, my close students also. Am I right?
Yeah.
So that I want. But raising myself by my own efforts in one lifetime, which is very brief, is very, very difficult. Why? Because I am a closed system. My energy is rotating in me only. And my system is encompassed by a society filled with ignorant people.
Right.
And these ignorant people produce ignorant material which I absorb through my 5 senses and my brain. Yes. So I am limited being living in a very heavily contaminated environment. So what are the chances for my growth and what are the chances for my devolution? Which is more likely?
The evolution is easier, I think.
Easier, yeah.
Going up is very difficult in this Kali Yuga, in this earth, which is absolutely mad these days. You follow what I'm saying? So, as an intelligent person, I understand this. But I can't help doing what I'm forced to do, which may be a job. Because I have to earn my money, I have to survive and keep my family also, alive. So many of us, in fact, most of us are slaves only because we have to survive. I'm sure if Neha were completely free, she will be doing something else in life. Am I right? Neha? Same with Sachit also, Raju also, and with me also. Right? So we all want that freedom, but we do not have that ability to be free. And more free you become, more happy you become. Right? That is why moksha is the ultimate destination. Freedom is the ultimate destination. When you attain moksha, you are absolutely liberated, free. You can do whatever you like. And you will not do bad things. You will do things which will be of benefit to everyone. Because you have very liberated consciousness, means very, very lucid and very, very powerful sattvic consciousness. You have become one with God Almighty. Right? You will be a different kind of creature, right? So that is what. So as a selfish person, I am looking for inputs which will be so powerful, which will not only overpower the environmental influences upon me, but will have the power to thrust me forward and higher and upwards, and which will be able to create a protective shield around me, which will take care of my physical needs on this planet, my family's physical needs, well-being, artha in artha sense, ensuring that I get a good job and stuff, and where I can use my talents better and become a better and better human being. And also, because they have a omniscient vision, masters, they know the best path for me. So they guide me along that path. They know my past karma, which have to fructify. So they take care of those karmas also, so that I don't bear the burden as much I should have. So, like, if you like a student, you give pass marks, 5 marks you give extra. Okay, later pass. Like that. So she will take care a little bit. And so my life will be generally more and more smooth. And then also she is helping me to understand on my own what is what. See, why she has to play this role of clearing my path? Because I can't see, I'm like a blind man. So she is doing it for me, navigating and helping. But at the same time, she is also helping me to evolve myself, so that her burden becomes less and less. When all will be well, she will not need to bother about me, because I can take care of myself. At that stage, I have become a master. That is the Guru Sishya Parampara in India. The Guru is the master, disciple is the Sishya, but Guru will not make a Sishya unless the Sishya is very bright. So there may be many students of a master, but very few disciples. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, maybe most of the times 5, 10 maximum. Even if someone is a very powerful master, maybe 10 disciples at the most. Swami Ramakrishna or Sankaracharya also had only a few disciples, because they are only capable of absorbing the teachings. Why? Because in a dark planet like Earth, how will you get such creatures very often? Very difficult. Because Maya is so strong, that very few people are able to retain purity. So that is what it is. So master is a embodiment of divinity. In India, we have this faith that some souls who attain perfection, they come to earth lifetime after lifetime to raise the consciousness of this planet. It's called avatar. No, incarnation of divine. You have a faith in that, right? Bhagavad Gita says that. Krishna says that, right? Krishna says, I keep coming again and again to uplift humanity. Now we may think that, oh, Krishna did not come, he was dark, he was like this. But Krishna is coming again and again in different forms. Sometimes as a woman, sometimes as a man. How do we know? Sometimes Krishna comes and doesn't become famous. He comes only for one family. It may also happen. Right? It depends upon the Krishna's choice, who is incarnating, why he or she is incarnating. So there are some compassionate souls who have attained perfection. Right? And they, out of their own volition, desire to help, keep coming back on the planet again and again. Amma is one such person. Okay. And they are called avatars. Now, this is the cornerstone principle of Sanatana Dharma, which means the system of thought which emanated from India, not a religion. You can ascribe it to the whole territory called India. In India, all the ancient thinkers put together, what they produced is called Sanatana Dharma. And why we respect this is because these people, what they discovered is now being verified by science. So in my lecture, if you watch later, one idea will come, Spandan, how God created this universe, right? So one belief is God created the universe in 6 days, on 7th day he rested, which I have covered in that video, right? But our Sanatana Dharma Upanishads declare that God created the universe out of Spandan. When there was nothing, it was complete lack of creation, and then a Spandan arose in the infinite cosmic consciousness, and that Spandan became universe. So our theory is not Big Bang. Our theory is that there is divinity at the base. It's called Kshir Sagar, and in that Kshir Sagar, a Spandan arose, and Vishnu started dreaming, and the universe was created. And what is Vishnu? Vishnu is one soul, which means what? One drop of that ocean. And that is our soul. So 3-4 years back, we have one magazine published by ASB Kochi students. So Amma is always writing some foreword in that. In one of those magazines I saw Amma's message, and there Amma wrote something which is absolutely true in my experience also, and I got validation from Amma also by reading that. Amma told in that message that in each one of you there is one drop of God. One drop of God. And it is your task to remain in touch with that drop of God and nourish it and nurture it so that it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and starts to play a greater and greater role in your life. That is your dharma as a human being. And there is no other teaching which I feel is more useful and significant than this. This is a teaching worth spreading all over the world. And you have to have it as a faith initially in your heart, and then try to recognize that drop, how it manifests in us. So that is what I'm going to talk about now. So this drop of God in us wants us to do good things. It wants us to feel happy all the time. It wants us to be prosperous. It wants us to be intelligent. It wants us to break free from the grip of illusion called Maya in our ancient tradition. What is Maya? Maya is anything which appears to give happiness, but in the ultimate analysis will bring only misery. That is called Maya. Okay, so one story is told to relate this. Rishis call it Mrig Krishna. What is Mrig Krishna? Mrig is deer. Krishna is desire for fulfillment. Okay, like if you are very thirsty, your Krishna is for water. When you are very hungry, your Krishna is for food, like that. Now, physical hunger can be satisfied very easily. Physical thirst can be satisfied very easily. But a Trishna of the emotional part of us is very difficult to satisfy. The Trishna for sensual part of us, very difficult to satisfy. That is our karma. So that is like fire, which I already discussed in the beginning of the today's class. So if you let it go wild, it will ruin your life. So there are two ways to attain happiness according to the ancient traditions. One is to fulfill your desires. Okay, if you can fulfill them completely, and other is to have less desires and meet them sufficiently. Right now, when you have a lot of desires, you need a more complex lifestyle, and when you have a less desires, you need very simple lifestyle. Right, it's very simple. But when you lead a very complex lifestyle, you become a victim of your complex lifestyle, because you have only this much consciousness. And leading a very complex life, you can't have spare consciousness for your evolution and development and growth, because you are busy living that complexity. You have a job which demands that 24/7 you remain available. Right? Your salary depends upon that. Now that's a complex job. What is job? Job is artha. Why money? Kama. So artha, kama completely occupy your 24/7 entire energy, entire time. And this job will leave you exhausted, isn't it? When the body is fit and young, you can do it for some time. And the moment middle age and old age starts to come, and it will come very quickly, because you're exhausting yourself very rapidly. So have you not become a victim? Now, ultimately, why I chose a complex job? I chose a complex job because I have complex needs. To satisfy those complex needs, I need more money. Maybe I live in a complex place like a metropolitan city, where the cost of living is very high. So it's a vicious cycle. And I'm not saying that it's an easy solution I have got. I'm not claiming that. But first, we understand these things. So when we go to a person like Amma, what happens? She will, first of all, if she likes me, then my life is made. But even if she doesn't like me like in an extraordinary manner, but since I have come to her, and she being a master epitome of mercy and compassion, she will still bless me. Is that not right? Are you following me? Amma will bless everyone, but she may not make everyone teach ethics in Amrita University. But she will bless everyone. But see, when she gives me a chance to teach ethics in Amrita University, that is a special grace, a special blessing. Because she likes me so much that she wants me to grow now. You see what I'm saying? So, but at least even as a simple human being with a closed system, energy system, enveloped in this darkness, in this Kali Yuga, if I go to her, she will still bless me. And at the very least, what will happen is that she will impart her energy to me. When she says something in her ear, Amma will say something in her ear if you met Amma. Anyone has taken Amma's lesson here out of the three of you? Saju? Neha? Anyone? As a part of the Amrita, we didn't go to Ultimate the Amrita.
We had it once.
You had it once?
Yeah.
She told something in her ear?
Yeah, she did.
That you'll remember, right? So I recommend you can have a darshan whenever possible. She will say something in your ear. What she is doing? She's telling something in your ear which is good and very sweetening for you, because in your language she will say, my child, she will say, generally. My daughter or my son, she will say based upon your gender. Okay. But you will feel good, okay, she's telling me, her son and daughter. But more importantly, she's imparting her energy into your system. Her prana vayu, her life energy, she imparts into your body through the ear. That is one, right? Now, by law of science, we know energy never dies. Yes or no? Energy never dies. So, her energy, a little bit of her energy, becomes a part of my energy system. It rotates in me, circulates in me. So, when energy of a very powerful master like Amma will come inside me, will it do harm to me or will it benefit me?
Definitely benefit.
You follow them, because energy is not going to die, no, it is going to do benefit only. So it will clean my aura to some extent. And then what happens? After some time, of cleaning, like anything, its charge will become little bit less and less and less and less. And then ultimately it will just remain in me like, I will not call it lifeless energy, but it will just get subsumed in my energy system. It will become a part of my energy system. But as a result of this interaction, my energy system will become slightly more sattvic and little bit less tamasic. Did you follow what I'm saying? It's like medicine. No, you take one tablet, little bit health becomes better. Then again, as a result of that, what will happen? When you come back from meeting her, you will feel little bit good and you will feel like doing some good things for some time. You may feel more energy. You may get up early in the morning a little bit and feel like doing all those things which have been promising yourself to start doing those, going for jogging or doing this, that, or stopping junk food. Some good motivation will come out of that energy and your life becomes a little bit more organized. Then again, you go and meet her after 2-3 months. Again, she imparts a little bit more energy. Then again, you become a little bit more organized. You keep doing it. Many people know about it and they will share with you. As they have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years, they have become much better people. Simply because she is imparting little bit of energy. It's like a medicine she is giving. She loses nothing because she is anyways going to breathe. So that breath she imparts to me. And I want that. No, people had this belief, you go and dip in Ganga and your sins will be dissolved. It's like dipping in the Ganga, literally, because she is giving you that energy. It's scientific thing I'm telling. Science now can understand these things. Energy can never die, right? See, she told something, no? That is sound, right? Sound energy, no? Sound energy. And her prana vayu, because without breath can you speak? You can't speak. So that enters your system. It will start working upon your system. So that is why masters are a blessing. Because masters, wherever they are, they carry God's energy with them. And God energy can never be harmful. Is it not right? And God energy, if I start to get more and more, my luck will improve or not improve? Tell me, Sally. Intuitively you can tell, no? Will it improve or not improve?
Yeah.
So I am experiencing this in my life. I am becoming luckier and luckier by the day. I feel like that. It's as if everything is supporting me and helping me to teach more and more and more and more and more and more. And all the disturbances are slowly going away. So it is Amma's grace like that. So in this Maya, confused world, I could do a thing which people were doing in earlier era. Trying to raise consciousness, trying to teach good things. And by doing that, I am myself living like that. So more and more grace is coming to me. Right. And then Amma started to take more and more notice of me. Then, slowly, she accepted me as a disciple. Even though I'm married, she understood that this guy is good. He has good motivation. Because whenever he thinks about the well-being of others. Whenever he prays to make me a better instrument so that I can help more this planet. So he's always praying for others only. He has never prayed for himself. Because that is what I do all the time. So she likes me. So obviously she sees potential in me, but I'm a very dirty fellow. In my aura, a lot of, all kind of nonsense are there. But my basic attitude is good. So she says, no, this guy is worth investing. So he started giving me more energy and more, powerful energy shots. So when I will go, she'll hug me for 2 minutes, not let me go easily. Okay. She will kiss me here and like that. I'll pour her blessings upon me so that even a dirty fellow like me can become better and better faster. Okay. So it is benefiting me. So I came to Amrita very sick. I was suffering from chronic amoebiasis for many years. Blood dysentery and whatnot. Liver was almost 1/3 of its normal size. But in the last 17-18 years, I have recovered so much of my health and I've become much better by Amma's grace. And in once a dream came where Amma was there and she told me that my life was destined to be only 40 years. Okay, when my son was born, second son, she came in a very powerful dream, which I still remember vividly. She told that you are meant to live only 40 years. But in the last few years, no, you have given your heart and soul to treating people. I was a good homeopath. I was using homeopathic knowledge to treat people. So no, you have, last 4 or 5 years, you have just poured yourself in helping people. And when you help people, you help me. That's what Amma told me. Because I am living in everyone. So as a result of the service to me, I am extending your life by 30 to 40 years, she says. And as a result of that, I am living even today, 54 plus. And she said, she has given me 30, 40 years. So 70 to 80, I am guessing I will live. And in that lifespan, she says, you use this life, my child, for the well-being of everyone as best as you can. And I am always with you. It was a very blissful, dream I saw. And my son was just 1 week old. So my son brought luck with him, in a way. No, I was meant to die after my son's birth. Maybe on that day itself. Who knows? My intuition is I was meant to die on that day when I saw the dream. Okay. But instead of Yamaraj coming, Amma came and she gave me another lifespan. Now, if it were a normal dream, I will forget. So dreams which are of normal type, I forget. But dreams which come from God or divine, I don't forget. Now, this you have to experience to be able to empathize or appreciate. So there are 3-4 dreams in my life I have never forgotten, and other dreams I have forgotten. But all these 3-4 dreams are significant, which have come from a higher order of consciousness. My subconscious mind cannot produce those dreams. So dreams which come from subconscious, you forget. But dreams which come from superconscious or divine dimension, you don't forget. Okay. So When you go to a master, such possibilities are there. My lifespan was extended. Now I'm just thinking, if I had died, what will happen to my children and my family? Obviously, now my sons are growing nicely, and one boy cleared IIT, and not only IIT. When Rohan speaks, you have heard him speak. He's so clear and lucid for his age, right? 18, 19 years of age. He is able to follow these esoteric discussions. He's listening right now. Okay, sitting there listening, and when he will feel the urge, he'll speak also. Okay. So, and what kind of parenting is this? It's very beautiful parenting. My sons are sitting and listening to these great things at 18 and 14 years of age, 16 years of age. What can be better gift, to my children than this? Don't you agree with me, Sachit?
Definitely, sir. I completely resonate with that. It's a very beautiful thing.
So, there is a divinity that pervades this universe. And that divinity, we need to connect with that divinity. We need that divinity. That divinity is self-fulfilled, doesn't need anything. So what is in my interest? To connect with the divinity. So the master is the bridge between me and the divinity. So that is master-disciple relationship. Why the disciple submit to the master? You see, if you look at the word disciple, it is coming from the same source from where discipline comes. Discipline, disciple. Right? So now I am teaching you something very important now. We all have a will. Yes? And we all have desires. Yes? Add will plus desire. Both. If they are both operating very strongly, you will naturally do what you desire. And you will naturally spend all your power to attain what you want to attain, to fulfill your desire. Am I right or wrong? I need your answer also. You have to respond, participate.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that student who came to me, I'm always following my heart and still becoming miserable. What she is doing? She is following her will and desire. But why she is suffering by following that so strongly is because intelligence is missing. What is worth following and what is not worth following, that is missing. It is called viveka or discrimination. In Sanskrit, there is a word called viveka, Viveka, and in English we call it discrimination. So that viveka is absent. And that is why I told her, educate your heart. Desire and will are unruly elements if they are not guided by a active and clear and lucid intelligence. So, when a master takes charge of a disciple's life, a disciple knows by faith that master knows the truth. And I don't know the truth. If I knew the truth, will I need the master? No, I will not need. So, since I don't know the truth and master knows the truth, I need the master. And as a result of that faith, if I am lucky, because I am projecting, see, when I say my master knows the truth, I am projecting only, no? How do I know? I don't know what the master is perceiving, right? But by observing her and by assessing her, I reach a conclusion that she is an embodiment of truth, let's say. If I am lucky, I am right. If I am unlucky, I may be wrong, okay? Why I am saying this? Because these days, a lot of false masters are there. And people project the knowledge of truth on them, but then they betray later. And then, life becomes very miserable. Because, in the Guru-Sishya relationship, it's the most sacred relationship because the Sishya will completely surrender to the master. So if the master is a, unruly person, then he can really ruin the person's life. But fortunately, Amma has proven to me to be a blessing. Okay. And day by day, I know that my faith was right. It's growing in me day by day. And now I know absolutely that I was right in, choosing Amma, rather Amma was right in choosing me. I think both are validated. She also, I hope, doesn't regret choosing me as a disciple. And I also don't regret choosing her as a master. Okay. So I am one of the few people who have experienced the master-disciple relationship in this 21st century, which is an absolute blessing. It's unbelievable luck as a soul. Okay. So in this relationship, what happens is, my desire is to do something. Okay. But master says, no, that is not good. Then I have to drop my desire. And by dropping my desire, I become a disciple. Because I am willing to be disciplined by the master. And why I drop my desire is because the master knows I don't know what is good for me. So when master says drop this desire, and the desire is very strong, then I will initially not be able to obey the master, because the desire is too strong for my consciousness to hold back. It's called vasana in Sanskrit. My vasana is too strong for it to listen to the advice of the master. It's like a raging fire. Okay. But the master's role she has already played by cautioning me. Right? Now the difference between a master and a teacher or a normal person is that master has infinite qualities in infinite measure. So one good quality is patience. Right? Another good quality is love. So she has both in infinite measure. So once she embraces me as a disciple, she knows my situation, that I am a slave to my vasana, my intensely strong desire, which is of a wrong type. She knows it that it's a wrong type desire because she knows it will not take me to the truth. It is taking me further away from the truth. Okay. So she cautions me, don't do that. But I am not able to follow. Then what happens? I succumb to the desire. I do what she told not to do. But she has patience also. So she forgives me because she knows my situation. But then the teaching keeps coming relentlessly. Every time I'm going to do it, every time she cautions. How she cautions, don't ask me. I have a way by which I know that Amma doesn't want me to do it. Okay. Because I'm now doing it for so many years, I automatically know, intuitively. It is a feeling in my heart, I know. And if I don't get the feeling, something around me will tell me. The clock will tell me, or something will tell me that Amma doesn't want me to do it. Some omen, some sound I will hear or something. Okay. I will know Amma doesn't want me to do it. But often I will do it because I am not able to control. But she will never go back from her duty of reminding me again and again and again and again, 100 times, 1,000 times, without becoming angry. That is the beauty of a master. The master will never reject you, and the master will never become angry with you. Because he knows your situation. And this behavior by the master awakens a tremendous love in the heart of the disciple. Because my parents were not so tolerant and so forgiving. My teachers were not so tolerant and forgiving. And no one is so tolerant and forgiving. So this is called unconditional love. Right? Then what happens? In my relationship with the master, when I go to meet her, initially I feel very guilty. I'm explaining to you my relationship with Dhamma actually, how it has unfolded. Initially I feel very guilty. I feel very ashamed that, I didn't listen to Amma so many times and I'm going to meet her. So I will be avoiding eye contact. I will be looking down here and there. But she will be looking straight at me. No, she will force me to look at her at least once. Until I look at her, she will not let me go. Okay. So this slowly over the years took away all the shame, all the guilt, all the fear. Why? Because I now know that nothing is hidden from Amma. No one is watching me, but Amma is watching me. And I myself am watching me. So slowly, this understanding came that actually Amma is no one else but my own self. That is how she is able to know whatever I am doing. And then slowly in my meditation, this started to become an experience. That actually what I am thinking, Amma sitting outside, is actually my own Atma. And in some mysterious way, she is same as my Atma, which is very difficult to comprehend initially. Slowly, as meditation deepened even more and more by Amma's grace, I started to realize, oh my God, this is the mystery. There's an infinite ocean of consciousness of which there is one drop sitting in me. And the drop is not separate from the ocean, because ocean is water, drop is water. So Amma, or a master of that caliber, has become one with the ocean. And having become one with the ocean, knows each drop. And as a result of that, when she wants to guide some soul, she can guide. And that is the beauty and power of master-disciple relationship. Because here is a friend, a teacher, a philosopher, a guide, a god, that by your great spiritual merit earned in previous lifetimes, you have met and she has accepted you. So other friends may leave, other relatives may leave, parents will die one day, but here is a master who will never die, and I am being guided and protected and blessed by her all the time. And that is a master. And that a teacher can't do. Why? Because not because of lack of good intention, but teacher doesn't have the power. Teacher doesn't have the power, the Shakti. It's called Shakti in India, Shiv Shakti. That Shakti is needed. That spiritual power is needed. And that is present in the master. In this case, Amma. In my case, because I know her only, there have been other masters also. There may be other masters also, but I know Amma only, so my life experience brought me to her. But one boat is enough to take you across the ocean, no? There may be other boats also. So, but every boat is same because they can carry you across the ocean. So in that sense, Amma represents those categories of people who are like a boat who can take you across this delusion, confusion, illusion. Which one? Asadoma Asadgamaya, Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Mamritangamaya. From darkness to light, from falsehood to truth, from death to immortality. And what is that? You awaken to your own self-nature. Atmagyan, self-realization, enlightenment, whatever you call it. So there is no harm in accepting today in front of my student that I have become self-realized by Amma's grace. I know my Atma, I am the Atma, and that is why I am like this. Teaching whatever I have understood, realized without any fear. I don't know if you're shocked by my behavior or not, I don't know, but this is what it is. So when I got a chance to talk about Amma, I felt so happy because I wanted to pour from my heart. Are you with me, Saju? What you followed so far, can you tell me in 2-3 minutes?
Yes, sir.
What you followed, why we should have go to a master, and what all blabbering I did all this while. What did
Yes,
you
sir.
follow?
Initially we started basic discussion idea was. Sir, sorry, sir. I have my
It is
daughter.
okay. You let her talk. It's okay. You continue. Huh? He is learning. Huh? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Let her be there. It's okay. Huh? You talk. No, huh?
So today we were broadly discussing the difference between teacher and trainer. So though you had discussed this thing on that day, even I have heard the whole session, but still I think today the clarity has become a bit more. Now trainers, there is something called a technical impart of technical knowledge or skill or expertise, and there is something called a consciousness enlightenment also. So teachers' responsibility is not only to teach the theoretical knowledge or the skills which are required for someone to survive in the world. Rather, the teacher enhances or enlightens the consciousness level of the student also. Then slowly the trainer becomes a teacher. It's not so easy. And then we described about one thing which I felt more interesting was a discipline and disciple concept. Hello, sir.
Yeah. We can hear you. Huh?
Sir, discipline and disciple concept. There is a combination of will and desire. So, if we want to guide this will and desire combination along with intelligence, only then this enlightenment happen in a better way. And a disciple, when a teacher in a relationship between a teacher and a student, if a student is submitting totally before the teacher, and then there's a discipline element is coming up, and then this student is converting from a student to a disciple. After total submission, when a
Yeah, but
student
there one thing we have to be cautious about: teacher should not pretend to be a master unless teacher has become a master.
okay,
So that is a very major difference between a teacher and a master, because master has become one with a divine principle, Brahman,
okay, sure,
Brahman, God.
sure.
So, like, unless one reaches that plane, I talk about plane and place. If you remember, in the beginning of my lecture, I talked a lot about the
Yeah,
plane and place. Plane is not a place. So, plane of existence means a plane of consciousness. Like, each thing has a consciousness. I was giving example of ant and me, if you remember in the beginning. Ant
sure,
cannot see me completely, right?
sure, sure.
So, but ant is a being and I am a being. Why it is? I have asked this in that video.
Yes, yes,
Why
sir.
it is important? Because ant has a life, I have life. Now, life is common to both. So, life is common to both. The same life energy is functioning in the ant through the ant body, and same life energy is functioning in Rajiv as Rajiv's body. But the ant cannot comprehend a being like Rajiv. So, Rajiv is a different plane of existence as compared to the ant's plane of existence. Why? Because ant's consciousness is not able to comprehend Rajiv. Right? So, this consciousness is another element which is another aspect of life energy. This life energy is called Sad. No, Satchidanand. This life energy is called Sad. It is manifesting through the ant, through the elephant, and through Rajiv also, through Amma also. It's not as if life energy and Amma is different. No, it's the same life energy. Bhagavad Gita says that those who see the same in the ant and Brahma, only that person sees. Idea is Brahma is the deity who has created the universe, but even the deity is enlivened by the same life energy. And even the ant is enlivened by the same life energy. So at that level of basic ground of our being, the ant and Brahma also, Amma also are the same. Okay, so the ant has the same life energy as me and Amma, but we are beings of different dimension, because ant cannot comprehend me with her consciousness. So this consciousness is the Chid aspect. Sad Chid Ananda. Sad is the energy aspect, because why? Energy will never die. Can energy die? So Sad, truth cannot die. Energy can never die. Science knows this. In that, I have told E is equal to mc squared. Then consciousness I brought. You remember in that lecture? Why? Because the energy is there in the ant. Energy there in Rajiv. Energy there in Amma. But Amma consciousness is different from Rajiv consciousness, and Rajiv consciousness is different from ant's consciousness. Like ant and me are related, I and Amma are related. That's what I told. Just like ant cannot comprehend Rajiv, Rajiv cannot comprehend Amma even today. Then, sir, why you say yourself realized? In the sense that I have realized that I am Atma. But then there is a blossoming of consciousness involved. So my consciousness has not blossomed so much that I can comprehend Amma. That is what I meant. Do you follow what I am saying? Because if my consciousness had expanded so much as Amma, I will be able to do things which Amma is able to do. But I am not able to do. For example, I can read your mind. I can know what Neha is thinking right now. I cannot know. Because I have not yet reached that level of consciousness. Are you following me? But one day if I reach that level of consciousness, Neha might be surprised. Sir is able to know everything which I am doing. But is it a curse on her or a blessing on her? Neha, if that happens to me, and I am your great friend, so is it a curse on you or a blessing on you?
That would depend, sir.
Upon what you do. That would depend upon what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
But that will be a blessing. That much you can intuit, right?
Right, yeah.
Because I will protect you. Is it not?
Yeah.
I will not let bad people come around you and harm you, right?
Yeah.
I will take care of you in this lifetime and next lifetime. So
Right.
it's a blessing only. So that Chid part, blossoming is never a harmful thing at all. That is what makes a teacher beautiful, and that is what makes a master beautiful. And that is what makes human life beautiful. Because we have the ability to grow our consciousness. which I call grow your light. Okay. So yes, teacher and student relationship is very beautiful, but master disciple relationship is a little bit different because the master is different from a teacher. Okay. Continue, Saju. Yeah, you are on the right track only, but I wanted to make this correction. Yeah. Teacher
So
is not a master. Teacher is
when we talk about imagination also,
Hmm.
so there is over imagination and under imagination. Both has its own negative impacts. And imagination these days we have observed that imagination has become almost wild. And if people becoming adding the element of intelligence to their consciousness level, only then this imagination has to be pure, can become pure. And if this imagination becomes pure, and that can do better things for the society. That was another point we discussed. And then we talked about that dharmartha kama moksha concept, sir. So artha is economical aspect, and that means in this teaching context, if we consider this dharmartha kama moksha, then artha means people teach a trainer is for the benefit of money. Trainer is doing it, or even a trainee is therefore with an ultimate intention to earn money. And there is another element, kama, which is desire. So both of them have certain desires. For the fulfillment of that particular desire, this trainer and trainee is in relationship. But when it comes to a teacher, then the teacher adds that element of dharma into it. Then the whole process of this learning becomes super special or divine. And that is the way how teaching is becoming different from the others. These all are the points which I could note down, sir.
Yes, Sachit, you want to add something?
Yeah, so I think I'm just coming back to your recent question. You asked about the master-disciple relationship, and you were explaining about your experience with Dhamma and how you were, describing it. So the difference, what I am able to comprehend, is in the consciousness level, which you are trying to explain. That a teacher can, share knowledge, impart knowledge, everything. But a master disciple, the entire relationship, what you are trying to say with your experience is that Amma is imparting, you started with, that example where you meet Amma and she, gives you a blessing, or, that life force energy through her, hugging you or passing on that word to you on the, in the person's ear. She's sending a small part of her own energy into you, and that makes a change. It infuses with your energy, and like you said, you might be more motivated for the next couple of days and have a better sense to do more better things around. But when that keeps repeating, when that is repeated over a period of time, more and more energy keeps coming. But then you started explaining about the specific relationship when you were not only a person who not only another person who's just meeting Amma, where Amma would be, since she's beingness of epitome of compassion, she would bless anyone and everyone whom she meets. But your relationship changed when it became a disciple and a master relationship. So when that establishes, she becomes everything in terms of a guiding force to you, a protector to you, despite those facts that you said, that I might carry so many as a consciousness, you might carry a lot of other karma from your past lives. You might carry all the other murky things that we might carry as impressions,
We all
experiences.
carry, right? We all carry, right? Yeah.
And every day it gets accumulated as experiences or impressions that that we carry. So that, despite all of those things, when this relationship is there, slowly the work on all of these unconducive impressions, experiences starts disappearing slowly as it keeps continuing, and your light starts growing, because the master is always there to protect you, guide you in every way. And you said that guidance comes through any form. It could be you, how you know it. It is personal to you. It was extremely personal to you because you feel that
Yeah.
okay.
So when it starts happening to you, you will also develop your own personal ways and means by which master will
Correct.
connect with you. Yeah.
Correct. So I definitely resonate with that because it becomes very personal, and other when you share that, probably other people might not at all completely not relate with you. It's a complete personal relationship, and so that guidance is always there, and that is what I was trying to understand. And then further, you explained very important points where about the forgiveness aspect, and how forgiving such higher beings can be, because that is their truth. They are living their truth of being very forgiveness and being patient. Despite you were saying there might be other desires that come. It might not be the right desire which would be the highest good for me individually, which you are able to sense. But still we go ahead and do it because our desire is there. Our desire is much more
It overpowers. It overpowers our consciousness. Yeah.
It holds. So that was also a very important aspect which I was also able to relate, and then you further said one important aspect that slowly you started realizing that this voice or this inner voice or these signs, everything is actually also part of me. It is my own Atman, is what you said. That Amma is my own, is within me. So there are so many multiple parallels that I was also trying to connect. I'm sure
You
again.
are a great student. You are an absolutely fantastic student. I mean, amazing. You could grasp that is very amazing to me. Okay.
Yeah. So because I'm just grateful that I'm always. Sorry, sir. I think I lost your voice for a bit.
No, I can hear you. Please go ahead. Huh?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I was able to relate to many parallels even in this movie Interstellar, which people could relate. I've seen that. Sorry, sir, I lost you. I think
we can hear you, Sachit. You please continue. You don't.
I'll continue. I think there's a lag in the video. I'll continue what I'm saying. So in the movie Interstellar, the person, the guy who goes into the space, etc., the child, the daughter, she keeps getting various.
We are able to hear, Sachit. Don't be nervous. Huh?
Okay. So she keeps hearing, getting a lot of signs. She calls it a ghost because she is able to sense that this is a person. There's some sort of a feeling where, she's able to feel that this is someone as a person is giving me these signs through various means, and it is very personal to her. It could be through, a book falling down. It could be through dots and dashes, which she was able to relate to. And then later on, when the hero is being traveling to the other dimensions and he's passing on all these messages, he also realizes that actually it was in the beginning, he doesn't realize that the entire concept of even the first handshake which happens in the space shuttle, later on when he transcends all the dimensions, he realizes that it was himself who was in that time space continuum, and he was giving a hand. He was reaching out to himself by giving the hand. It was he who was giving these signs and communications to his daughter and himself in that particular situation, that don't go, it's a trap, don't go set out to the outer space, etc. But that's just a movie. But I was able to connect to the aspect that like you said, if I'm a drop of the ocean, and from the ocean itself I'm getting all these guidance and support, and all of these aspects of being protected, being guided, being given all the other to take next steps, sort of a thing. So
yeah.
I hope I made sense of it.
You intuited very perfectly, very close to what I was saying.
Yeah.
So main thing, to reiterate again, is that we all are in this world, and in this crazy world, and we all are really struggling our level best to somehow survive, to cope, and to still find some happiness and peace. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So in that kind of environment, if I could get a help of this solid nature, like Amma, like in my life, Amma in my life, what could be a greater blessing than that? That someone who takes care of my needs and my family needs, and I know that she's taking care. For example, from my very childhood, I was fascinated by Dharma and higher truths and higher knowledge, and very fond of Krishna and such things. So in this day and age, she was able to drag me from the grip of finance and hardcore management, then through OB, and then positive psychology, and then ethics, and then happiness, and then spirituality, and then she comes in my life and starts to really starts to give booster doses of energy into me, and really starts to awaken me and touches my soul, awakens my soul. My soul starts to awaken from its slumber. I start to meditate, and meditations become more and more blissful, more and more wonderful. So much so that these days I get very weird ideas. Sometimes I even start to wonder whether I will die or not. You know what I'm saying? The way I'm moving, I may go beyond death. Who knows? Lucy movie you have seen, no, Sachit? You told. So I may be that Lucy, different degrees of that, percentage wise I'm increasing.
Yeah, brain capacity, yes.
Yeah, so so when Lucy touches the chimpanzee, that's very, very touching scene. Lucy was the chimpanzee because she has gone back in time when she was the chimpanzee. Very beautiful scene. That is what the meaning of that scene.
Exactly.
She's touching herself, and that being is millions of years ago, and this being is here, Lucy. It's a beautiful, beautiful, absolutely fantastic movie. Must see. We'll see it together maybe here, if I can find it somewhere. Because I try to find these days now, it is only available on buy or rent on YouTube. I don't know how to do it. So if I can rent it for 3 hours, I'll show it to you people, or you can watch it on your own. Lucy. Okay. So something like that is happening to me. I don't know. So, and I am a shameless fellow, or you can call a very truthful fellow. So because of my love for humanity, I will not hide myself. That much I have promised to myself, to Amma, to everyone. If I awaken fully, I'll awaken fully and tell you guys I've awakened fully. I will not lie to you. Okay. But I want to liberate as many people as I can in my lifetime from this misery. So that way my nature is very similar to Buddha, Jesus, Amma. Not Lama, Amma a little bit clever. But Buddha and Jesus are a little bit stupid. So I am like that, stupid. Okay. I will simply sacrifice myself, and I'm that guinea pig, willing to be that guinea pig. Okay. But I will not hide anything. That is my truth today, that I am a growing being. I know my self, I know my Atman. But I understand my brain is not still fully blossomed. My being is not fully blossomed, so I am a work in process. So that way I am inspired by Lord Shiva. In his head, the crescent moon is incomplete moon. So I think Shiva stands for the tamasic aspect of Godhood, which means Shiva is a growing consciousness. So I relate to Shiva more than to Vishnu. But Vishnu has been my nature because I want to sustain Dharma. And Shiva is a devotee of Vishnu. Okay. Hanuman was Shiva and Vishnu was Rama, right? So Shiva is a devotee of Vishnu. Because Vishnu is the master and Shiva is the disciple, so to speak. Like that. Hanuman relations is like that only. So our Indian tradition doesn't discount the possibility of man becoming God if you go through a process of perfection. And that process is guided by the master. So since we are talking about Amma, so Amma as the master represents that epitome of knowledge and epitome of beingness in her energy system, that she is capable of guiding, leading, blessing, and helping a soul to progress on spiritual path. So many things we can learn from this. One, the intention of the master is the well-being of the disciple. Like when I say that disciple means discipline, means surrendering our even desires to the master, it may look like dictatorship, no? Because these days we have so much faith on democracy and equality that we don't want to obey anyone. So, but if I'm saying that I can obey my master and I should feel like, blessed because master is taking interest in me, like I'm doing anything, no? Why he has interest in me? So in fact, initially in my relation with Amma, I used to feel rebellious also sometimes. I used to tell her in my mind that I am a strong person. I will not surrender completely to you without applying my mind. I used to argue with her internally. Initial 3-4 years of my relation with her. And she used to be okay, patient, but she will not stop teaching me. She will keep quiet for maybe a week or 10 days. But again, she will start to come in stealthily and start teaching again. So her never say die spirit, never give up on me. No matter how unruly or disobedient I am and brainwashed into believing into equality and all that. Equality doesn't exist. There is nothing like equality, a bullshit idea. Okay. It has done more harm than benefit to the world. The believing I am equal to my dad, I can think and you can think, it's nonsense. Okay. We stop respecting our dad and the dad becomes hurt and he becomes quiet, and then we become kidnapped by the friends and we drink alcohol till 3 o'clock in the night and then life becomes miserable. That is what we are doing. No? We're wounding our dad and mom to go away from our life and becoming more and more sad and miserable and alone. But tell me, who will care more than your dad and your mom? No one will care more, no? But in the name of equality, we alienate them. And in the earlier era, we used to touch their feet and listen to them. Even if we don't agree with them, we still listen to them. So that they are happy. You remember, in earlier times, it was like that. So equality is actually a good idea in a fundamental way, but when taken to an extreme, it becomes a little bit difficult. Because a teacher and a student cannot be equal. Teacher has to teach. Because when you say they are equal, means teacher can't teach. Student will tell, no, okay, sir, I will listen to you, but I may not agree with you. Then how do I take your exam? Because I have to test you, what you understood. Then you will write your own story. Then how can I give you marks? Then if I don't give you marks, you will come and fight. No, sir, it is your perception. Arey Baba, not perception, my knowledge. There is difference between knowledge and perception. You can't tell, fire is hot, it is your perception. Fire is hot only. You know what I'm saying? It is knowledge, not perception. Are you following what I'm saying? Difference between perception and knowledge. Perception is subjective, subject to challenge, opinion. But it is knowledge. Knowledge means reality, not perception. Reality can also be perceived, illusion can also be perceived. But when we perceive reality, it is called knowledge. When we perceive illusion, they are called mad. You know what I'm saying? That is what madness means. You perceive illusion and say that is real. So that is why teacher is there. So today's kids are very confused. They have been misguided in so many ways that as a mechanic, I don't know where to start the repair process. We need selfless soldiers, okay, Saju. Selfless soldiers of Dharma who are enlightened, and we need thousands of such people. And we need an organization like that which will wake up the whole world. And then each member of the organization becomes an entrepreneur by himself or herself. So we are like a garden where a lot of good seeds are produced. And these seeds go and flourish as trees, and we all network together. That is the only way to change this planet. I'm sharing a vision also. So now, anyone and everyone watching this video, let us unite and connect and keep helping each other and keep growing our light. And we all become a shining tree of light, beacon of light. And then that is the only way to uplift the planet. And I'm sure that, by Amma's grace and her blessings, this will happen like an infection, good infection. And life, as I see it, is very simple. Just love yourself and grow yourself. That's what it is. If you find a master like Amma, grab her and just cling to her and be very selfish for the good of yourself and good of all. Only that much is needed. And whenever you have time from your job, just read, meditate, contemplate, do some good things, become more and more knowledgeable, more and more empowered, more and more, wiser, and manifest these qualities in your family, in your workplace, everywhere you go. So that slowly people start to ask, what are you doing, Sachit? What are you doing, Saji? What are you doing, Neha? How come you're glowing like anything? In 10 years time, you don't need to apply any powder or lipstick or anything. You become so beautiful. Because Atman is glowing from within. That is what is my vision and dream. Then when we come on YouTube, millions of people follow. Let us follow Rajiv sir, what he's teaching. Looks like a madman, but he has some sense like that. That is what I'm hoping for. Okay. Neha, my most favorite student. Okay. I let her speak at the very end, because when she will speak, she will make you all look like children. Okay.
So I have a very basic question. I think you almost answered it now. So the question was, so you spoke about following values and to be idealistic and stuff. So what I've observed is most of the people who are idealists nowadays kind of get frustrated because the society is not idealistic, be it the place you work or the social structures in your family, or even the government, right? Like you being idealist, what happens is you kind of expect others also to be fair to you, which does not happen, which leads to frustration and kind of like you become bitter. So that I have seen in people, especially in the previous generation as well. The more honest and giving you are to others, like after years, you kind of sort of don't get anything back. Not from a selfish perspective, but that's how things have turned out to be. So, how do you kind of cope up with being nice and not expecting from others?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. So actually, so answer is quite easy for me to give, but to understand and apply the answer may be tough part for you as a student,
Right.
right?
Right.
So since it is a dark age and darkness prevails everywhere, where there is no clarity and people have lost touch with their souls, and as a result of that, dharma is like languishing and has withered down a lot in this age. And as I explained already the reasons, you already know the reasons. I've explained so many times. I will not go over that. So if this is the reality of today in which we are living, then only two choices are there. One is succumb to the darkness and become like other dark people. So your question is saying that, sir, if it is so tough to be a beacon of light in this era of darkness, it's a very easy option for me to succumb to darkness and become dark or pretend to be dark, even though light is inside me languishing. So please excuse me and let me go home. It's too tough what you're saying, right? But I will tell you that don't lose hope. Apply your intelligence and apply your basic nature as a beacon of light. Who you are is light. So losing your light means suicide. That is the first thing I'll say. Because losing your light means you're committing suicide as a soul, as a spirit, spark of spirit. The very core of your being is that. Right? Now, very fact that you came to Amrita, you met people like me, and this class is happening even after you have graduated, shows that there is some divinity which is taking care of you. So your light is not unsupported completely. Maybe in the immediate environment where you are, you don't feel supported, but then you think of your role as different. You have been placed there by divinity to bring light to others around you. So if you recognize your nature as light, you will not expect light to come from others towards you. So right now what is happening to you, you are trying to borrow light from others. Light means love, nourishment, understanding, support. So rather than expecting that, you redefine yourself as a giver of light, despite the tough circumstances. So this core level redefinition is required, first of all, who you are. So if you define yourself as a body, mind, intellect alone, who calls herself Neha, then very difficult. But if you define yourself as a spirit, soul, spark of supreme, embodied right now as Neha, then it's easier. Your self-identity, is of a soul or of a personality. That is very important. So when I say grow your light, I am saying you are a soul and grow your light. I am not saying you are a body, mind, intellect and grow your light. That is pointless. Because body, mind, intellect are shining by the light of consciousness. Because if body were true, then after death body would be talking, no? After death body will be thinking, but it is not able to do that, which means it is soul which is present inside, which enlivens the body, and that is the light. But it is the soul which has become overpowered by the body. Why? Because the body did not live properly. Why the body did not live properly? Because the mind was kidnapped by the outer environment and temptations. How it happened was because the intellect was not able to play its role of developing viveka and helping the body and the mind to make right choices. And how the intellect became confused was because the intellect did not remain in contact with the inner spark of divinity. Let the conscience die. by the onslaught of the sick and depraved circumstances around me. So actually, by not living up to our inner nature, which is very much alive in Neha, we are betraying our own true nature, our own true self, just because it is painful to exhibit that nature. Right? Now, what I will tell you is that what you can do is, now I'll give you the second part of my answer. First is you stop expecting from others that they will support you. Right? Because they are not able to understand from where you are coming. Because for them, money is important, for them, outer success is important, for them, status is important, for them, people praising you and the family is important, for them, getting these outer symbols of achievement is important, right? And hence the pressure upon you to be like that, which will fetch you more rewards, right? That is what you may be experiencing everywhere. Ends justify the means, everywhere in the workplace, also everywhere. So we have to say no to that, because that is not dharma, that is adharma. And we have to understand our real nature. Emotionally, we are meant to be happy, contented, strong, and clear. Not needy, wounded, begging for love and support. Right? Am I right? That is the root cause. And to attain that health, emotional health, the intellect has to be used to think through if I am on the right path or others on the right path. So if the intellect says that I am on the right path, then I will not give up my right path, come what may, whether someone likes it or doesn't like it. Then we have to start using authority, not our authority, divine authority. If Father says do like that, you say, Father, I am reading Bhagavad Gita these days, Krishna says this. Is Krishna wrong? If he says he is wrong, then you say, Gokul Ashmita, don't worship him. I will not come from US or anywhere you are. Never talk about God in front of me. And never tell me to come to the temple. You will be adamant with your father. He will be shocked and surprised, but he will understand you are telling the truth only. If you worship Krishna, listen to him also, no? How can you worship Krishna and not listen to Krishna? What is that nonsense? So like that, that is what I used to do in my family. My mother will tell, why don't you study hard? I said, I don't like to study all this physics, chemistry, nonsense. And she will tell, no, but if you don't study, how you will get marks? I'll say, what is the use of getting marks? You'll come first. What is the use? You'll become happy. I'm already happy. Let me be happy. Let me be. And then when she will push a lot, I will say, but mummy, if I come first, that boy who is coming first will be sad, no? So people used to be sick and tired of my arguments. My father used to say, if he becomes a lawyer, then no one will be able to, beat him. He is unbeatable in logic. So what I mean to say, see, ultimately intellect has been given to us to decide what is the right path and be strong and firm. And so as I have stuck to my guns, you see, then slowly life has unfolded in a different way. The same people who used to doubt me and criticize me and stuff, slowly, so everyone is tipping their hat and telling, yes, well done. You are right and we are learning from you. Then they will tell me what you are doing. Because when Rohan speaks or when Rishi speaks, people marvel at their intelligence and their maturity. You can talk with Rohan. One day I'll tell him to take the class. Okay. He can teach wonderful things, I'm telling you. Is it okay one day if I tell Rohan to teach for 1 hour? What he has learned from me? Huh?
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
I'll do that. He will love it. Very mature boy. You can tell me whether I have been a good parent or not. So this is my accomplishment. And this I can showcase to society. You see, don't you want children like this? If you have children like this, society will be healed in one generation. Is it not? But then that is the power of Dharma. ethics, when it is ingrained by someone, embraced by someone at the inner core, time to worship God is gone. Time has come to learn from God and become God and be God. All four of us have to become gods. That is the time. We don't need one Krishna, we need millions of Krishnas. Am I wrong, Sadhu? Tell me.
No, sir, absolutely right.
I will give you one simple idea. Let's say 10,000 people like us in the world. We put 1 lakh rupees together, all of us. How much money it comes to? 100 crores, no?
Yes, sir.
With 100 crores, can't we start a good university?
Sure.
And a series of schools? Can't we start?
Yes,
We
sir.
can start, no? So what stops us? Nothing. This is spiritual entrepreneurship. Keep this in mind. Someday I may ask you for money also. Okay? Guru Dakshina.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
I'm sure you'll give me, right?
I was just discussing today with my wife. If I had Rajiv sir's IIM Calcutta degree, I could have earned much more money than him.
I am Calcutta is a bogus place. Why you want to go to I am Calcutta? We want
I
to
know.
create institutions which will which will outcompete and put them in the shade. We want to revive Dharma, right? Why we want I am Calcutta? We don't want I am Calcutta. We want I am divinity. Okay.
Sir.
Money, don't worry about money. How much money you want? I can give you that much money, Seriously. I mean, I don't think Kalam, if he wanted to raise money, he would have struggled to raise money. Don't you agree with me?
Sure, sir.
Kalam at the peak of his life wanted 100 crores. How much time it will take to generate? Not more than one day. He just has to tell on Facebook, I want money. People will pour money from all over the planet. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
That is the Sadhu I want. You are begging for money. Arey, you are not a beggar, you are God. Kalam was a God, okay? You have to become like that. And gods die because the body dies. The God, inner God did not die. He will come again. Kalam will come again. So this is the real nature of the universe. Truth never dies. Spirit never dies. And what is spirit? This is spirit. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. That enthusiasm, that never say die. That is what Neha needs. Just spirit. Fight back your dad, mom, boss, everyone bullshit. Push them back from your boundary. Be strong. You create a new reality where they say, yes, Neha, I'm proud to be your father. I'm proud to be your mother. I have given birth to a lioness. That is the spirit. We need that will in a different way. We need a spiritualized will. Because I am a spark of divine light. How can I extinguish myself for your sake? You are a foolish person. If you are foolish, I also become foolish. What nonsense is that? One way, keep coming every Sunday, keep taking these boosts of energy, and keep fighting, and one day your light will overpower darkness. That is how it is. What will happen? Resign your job, go to another job. What is the big problem? But don't resign first, get the new job, then resign. Be clever. To answer second part, idealistic people. I'm not idealistic. I'm not idealistic. I am the ideal. There's a difference. Did you follow, Neha, what I said?
Can you explain it a bit, sir?
I am not idealistic. Idealistic means light is coming from somewhere else.
Okay.
I am the ideal. I am the light. I am not borrowing light. I am the light. The difference between sun and the moon. I will teach astrology also slowly, all of it. Moon is the emotion. Sun is the Atman. So moon can be wounded. Sun cannot be wounded. Did you follow? You are a beautiful moon, hence getting wounded. But discover the sun inside. Chant Gayathri Mantra every day. With my blessings, Mother Gayathri will start shining in your heart. No, you know Gayathri Mantra? Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard, I've not.
No, from today we'll start chanting. Okay, chant. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. It means, O Divine Lord, O Divine Son Lord, who shine in all the three planes of existence. Bhu means earth, Bhuva means astral plane, Swa means divine plane, where gods live. So, O Son, O Divine Son, who illuminates all the three planes of existence, earth, astral lokas, where our ancestors live, and the godly realm, Bhur Bhuva Swa. That is the meaning of this. Then Tat. Tat means that, supreme divine. Om Bhur Bhu Swa Tat. Oh, Tat means divine Lord. Oh, divine Lord, who illumine all these three planes of existence. Savitur, who is of the that Sa, that Tat is of what nature? Savitur, like sun. Savitur means sun. Who is like sun, glorious shining light of consciousness. Varenyam, I choose you. Varenyam, no, Varmala, like that woman used to marry.
Yeah, yeah.
Varenyam. So, Om Bhur Bhu Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya, oh beautiful God, Bhargo Devasya, so beautiful God. Oh Bhargo Devasya, Dhimahi, in my intellect, this khopri, no, this skull, Dhimahi, Dhiyo, Yona Prachodaya. So this, it's like a Yona means like in a hole in which this skull, the brain is there. In that you Prachodayat, you become illuminated. O Sun God who illumines all the three planes of existence, come inside me, illuminate my intellect and make me like you. That is the prayer. And most powerful prayer is supposed to be Gayathri Mantra only. That is what you need, the sun's energy in your life. So Gayathri Mantra is to impart you sun's energy, which will be always shining. Will sun ever cry and stop shining? Sun will not cry and stop shining. And there is no increasing and decreasing sun. Sun, सुबह हुआ कि बस sun is up. A moon is increasing and decreasing. So moon can be wounded. When it gets wounded, it becomes decreased. When it is happy, it increases. But sun says no. Every season I am the sun only. The same. Shines every day. The same power. We have to become like the sun. So another way is to put a big picture of sun in your room and chant Gayathri Mantra early morning or sunrise, sunset. So rising sun is better for Gayathri Mantra because it inspires, because new day is beginning. And chant Gayathri Mantra. What I mean to say, these are not only symbols, these are real entities. Sun is actually a deity. If we actually connect with sun as a deity and start chanting Gayathri Mantra, that sun will start illumining our heart also. You'll realize for yourself, it's not a falsehood I'm saying. They are deities also. In astrology, we treat them as deities. They are mantras for Surya. And Gayathri Mantra is the ultimate mantra because it is worshipping not only the outer sun, it is worshipping the inner sun, the Atman. And Dhamma told you that one drop we are. That one drop is so powerful that if it grows and becomes awake, slowly it increases in size. And that is why it is called Brahman. Brahman means that which expands. No, in Sanatana Dharma, there is no Brahman is the ultimate reality. That Brahman is our Atman only. So the idea is, Amma is trying to awaken the Atman inside me. Because he knows that Atman is Brahman. So that is why I told I am not yet Amma, because my Atman is not yet fully grown. It is growing. So as it grows more and more, becomes more and more Brahman. When it becomes a fully grown Brahman, it's like, a banyan tree has become a banyan tree. A banyan seed has become a banyan tree. Like another Amma has taken birth. So that is how it is. Another enlightened master has taken birth. Now then, Amma is free. She will teach other students now. And I will teach my students, which I am doing. Like that. Life is, and then you will start teaching your students. But then all of us will be friends only, and together we can change the society. I gave you just simple idea, let's say 10,000 of us are there. 1 lakh rupees, very peanuts, no? Why we work for other people? We can start our own organization, isn't it? If all 10,000 have the same spiritual DNA, The same Mother Gayathri shining in all of our hearts. Why can't we work like one family? Why can't we work? Can't we work?
Sure, sir.
That is what the planet needs. So before being able to change society, let us change ourselves and become empowered and keep growing our light. I had shared in the first lecture, that is my vision. And as we grow our light and become more powerful, we enlighten more and more people. And then all of us come together, and together we start something of our own, where we can actually, who knows, this Grow Your Light can become an organization. And where everyone is employed in Grow Your Light. What do you say about that? Why can't it happen? And we can give ourselves good salary, deserving of a good MBA or a good whatever, PhD. We don't need to be poor also. We can take 2 lakh rupees salary, 3 lakh rupees salary, it's okay. For serving society. Enjoy, go to Lulu Mall also, it's okay. Have a nice life. Right? Be rich, make everyone rich and prosperous, but not stupid. Money is good. Too much money with too little intelligence is very bad. Right? I think we had a beautiful class, and I have not even started to scratch the surface of what I shared in that day. So many things I shared. We just started with training, teaching, and 2 hours are gone. So my classes are like that, only crazy. I'm a madman. But I felt very happy today. Because I was absolutely speaking without any any pressure. I just bared my soul before you, me and my Amma's relationship. So it is like that. And just like Amma thinks towards me, I think towards you. Intention is like that only. She wants me to become a glorious son of consciousness, and I want the same for all of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a chain reaction. I'm sure Amma will be blessing me with even more power when I go to meet her next. Because she wants me to pass on that power to you. Like that. And when you get a chance to meet Amma, definitely meet her. And before she dies, you meet. That's my wish. Because you don't understand what you are doing. You are meeting a real living master, which is an absolute blessing. You will not comprehend what I'm saying. But take me on faith and do meet her whenever it is possible. Nothing is more powerful than blessings of a truly self-realized being. It's God herself who is blessing you. Have that faith and just go. Yes, Raju, follow me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall we close for today?
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
And one thing I'll tell you, I had planned something else, and none of that I talked. I talked something else. I don't know what, but seriously, it was a good session, no?
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay. You enjoyed, no? I didn't waste time, right?
No, sir.
definitely.
Okay.
It was very nice to know your own experience.
Okay. I'll share more, I know, because as time permits and as it is appropriate. But one thing I can tell you that, a real master, when you meet, they have a way to reach you in so many ways. And you will know that this was Amma. You will not believe, once, I had gone to drop my mother-in-law. She had come for one surgery, and I had, helped her to get the surgery done because my wife is the only child. In those days, she was living in Patna. So she had traveled all the way to Coimbatore and had gallbladder stone surgery. And after that, I let her go by flight on her own. I thought, what is the problem? I will drop her off in Bangalore and she will catch the flight from Bangalore, get down in Delhi, and Delhi again, change the next flight and go. And just to save money, because I have to also accompany her all the way to Patna and come back. So that is substantial amount of money, right? So maybe some 15,000 rupees I'll save. I thought, what is the problem? She will reach there. No. So I did not go. And it so happened that in Bangalore, when I went to drop her, we stayed overnight in the guest house in Bangalore campus. Okay. And next morning when I went to drop, it was very, very, different kind of day. What is that? You can't see fog. It is called fog. Very foggy morning, and the message is there that the flight may get delayed and it may even get cancelled. So that is what I learned. So I was very shocked because if the flight is delayed, her next connecting flight she may miss from Delhi, and she was panicking. I could see a lot of fear on her face, and I was feeling very guilty that what I have done. And then ultimately in the airport, what happens? No, from the gate, they take the passenger inside, and I can't go inside. So I have to let go of her, and she goes inside, and I had arranged for her this thing, support for the patient. So she was made to sit on a chair, and they were carrying her and all that. But she was looking at me with a lot of fear, and I was feeling very miserable from inside. Then in the cab as I was returning, I just closed my eyes and I started praying to Amma. And you will not believe me, Sachit, it was very dense, foggy morning. And by the time I opened my eyes after 2-3 minutes, there is sunshine everywhere. This is one of the most shocking miracles I have seen. There is sunshine everywhere. And immediately my mother-in-law's phone call is coming. No, I am going to board the plane and plane is starting. And I just started crying, actually. So that day, Amma made me realize that even such things are possible. Like what we take as absolutely given, like climate, even that can be changed by a master. Just like that. And that day I realized that she is not a human being at all. Because in my understanding, only God can do that. Don't you agree with me? So then, amazing things kept happening that day. My mother-in-law found a family from my native place, Patna, who took great care of her. In Delhi also they were with her. They were again shifted to the same flight. They took care of her. Then in Patna, when she got down, she has some luggage to carry from inside to the outside. One person came to her and picked up her luggage and took her outside and found a cab and made her sit on that cab. And then she called me innocently in the night. Everything went all right. We got a coolie on the airport. I got a coolie on the airport. I said, what coolie? She said, yes. He was wearing a coolie dress. He got a coolie on airport. She said, yeah, what is the problem? And I didn't tell her anything. But I was telling in my mind, what is this nonsense? How can there be a coolie on airport? Have you ever heard of a coolie on airport? And he was dressed up like a coolie. So I asked her how much money he took. He took 10 rupees. Then, I was wondering, you see. So in that experience, Amma, demonstrated to me that anything is for the airport, where, coolie can be possible for innocent souls like my mother-in-law. She has no idea. She has never been on a flight before that. She's thinking, no, it's like a railway station only, airport. How innocent that is. And it really touched my heart, that incident. And there are many incidents like that. It will be illogical to you, right? I'm sure it is going on YouTube. People will think I'm crazy guy. But such things have happened to me. So I don't feel any shame in sharing. And there are hundreds of such incidents in my life. Initially, they used to happen more frequently. Nowadays, they don't happen. They're not needed also so much. But it happens to my wife now all the time. Same magic, no? Will keep happening to her. My wife has to just wish anything, it will happen. Anything she will wish, no, will happen. Seriously. And she now says, Amma is taking care of me like anything. This is my living experience. Now, how do I deny that? Why it happens for my wife? Because she's a very childish soul, very innocent soul. She needs that faith. So Amma is right now nurturing that faith. That Amma is taking care of her like a mother takes care of a small baby daughter. Okay, like that. Because spiritually she's a baby daughter only. She has to grow in consciousness. But every quality, every divine quality is equally important. It's not as if, tremendous wisdom is more important than tremendous faith. No. Tremendous faith is the very base of the building. Faith in whom? Faith in the master. Why? Because when there is tremendous faith in the master, slowly with these miracles, love will awaken. When tremendous love will awaken, you want to know what Amma is teaching. And as you start to read her teachings, you want to follow. Then what happens? Your life becomes better. Your conscience becomes more awake. Your wisdom increases. It's a very beautiful alchemical reaction. It's like an alchemist, he transforms. What can be? A teacher can't do that. Teacher doesn't have the power to do that. A master has the power to do that. So today's session is dedicated to what a master means and how a master can transform a disciple's life if a master embraces the disciple, if she feels disciple is worthy enough. So how I became worthy of this love and grace is that when I look into my heart, I can tell you honestly, I don't see even a trace of selfishness. Only one thing I see, desire to love and serve and awaken humanity. So if you also have the same desire, I am sure either Amma or some other master will invoke in your life. Then they will come. Okay. So last parting sentence will be, I feel the same God, one God can take many forms, I feel, according to our nature and our attitude. And he will come in that form. So for Neha, he will come in that form which is suited to Neha, for Saju in that form which is suited to Raju, like that. Based upon our needs, no? We each have a different type of personality based upon that. And God knows what will suit us. Like that. So I needed a person like that, embodiment of love and embodiment of tremendous knowledge also. Very fact, Rama started university shows to me that she cares for knowledge, which I also cared for. So it's a good fit for me. You also seem to be similar people to me. So she would be a good fit for you also, I feel. You studied in her university, so that again another connection. So good idea to meet her and to follow her teachings. But they are very shocking in the beginning. But old books are very shocking. But I think, you can read any book which is increasing your wisdom and awareness, and that is good enough. And I'm doing my level best to introduce you to such literature. Okay. 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 So now we shall part. Bye bye. See you again next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.